Hello and welcome to the Tech on Toast podcast. This is season number 10. It's brought to you by OpenTable. OpenTable is a global leader in restaurant tech, helping more than 60,000 restaurants worldwide fill 1.7 billion seats a year. OpenTable's world-class technology empowers restaurants to focus on what matters most: your team, your guests, and your bottom line, while enabling diners to discover and book the perfect restaurant for every occasion. With best-in-class table management software and valuable 24/7, 365 in-person support for restaurants, why not schedule a demo today? Visit opentable.co.uk/restaurant-solutions to get started. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the next episode of the Tech on Toast podcast, and today I'm delighted to be joined. I'm going to say my old friend because we speak a lot.
We speak a lot.
But we haven't met before. Have we met before in person?
No, this is the first time we've met.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Jon Horsfield. Jon, I forget your title. What's your title at Centegra?
Chief Revenue Officer. Chief Revenue Officer.
Chief Revenue Officer. Welcome, Jon. How are you? And welcome to Brewdog.
Thank you very much.
It's quiet today, isn't it?
It is quiet. If I'm looking a bit sort of warm, it's because I've just had some Korean chicken wings.
Yeah.
And they're a bit spicy.
Do you recommend them?
I definitely recommend them. Definitely.
But not before a podcast.
No, definitely not before a podcast. The water's there.
Yeah, I was just going mine, actually. Yeah. And how's your week been? It's only Tuesday, so it can't be that bad. It's only Tuesday.
It's been a really interesting week because we put a press release out yesterday about something that happened some time ago. But we actually sort of launched the fact that we've been acquired by an American company. So it's been a very interesting week.
We'll get into that. Yeah. Well, actually, before we start anything, let's just hear a bit about you and what your background is, and tell us a little bit about how you got here. I mean, we've got 45. We have to understand that Jon is. Let's just get out of the way. Yeah. Huge Villa fan. Yeah. For you American listeners, that's a football team in the UK. Not very good. Jon's a huge Villa fan and can talk more than me. So this is going to be interesting.
I don't think that's going to be possible. I don't think that's possible. So I started off, I started off bottling up pubs when I was 14.
Really?
Local job. Just down the road, and then from there worked in operations in various pubs, bars in the local areas, and then moved into stadiums. So I worked at my beloved Aston Villa for a while.
Did you? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was used to work 1 week at Aston Villa, and then the next week I used to serve at Birmingham City, which was interesting because they never played at home at the same time.
Again, for our American listeners, they're great friends.
Actually, Birmingham City, they'll be known in America because Tom Brady's just taken, I think, a £1 share in them.
Yeah. That's all they're worth, isn't it?
I'm saying nothing. So worked in various stadiums in the UK, so Villa, Birmingham, West Brom, Wolves, and then took some time out and went over to Australia.
How did you do?
Learnt coffee. Did loads of coffees. We're making 1,000 coffees a day at various places over there.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And I would still argue that I was over in Melbourne a few weeks ago, and I'd still argue that some of the best coffee in the world is over there.
I was going to say good friend. I kind of backtracked on that really quick, didn't I, when I said that? A friend of mine who I work with at Compass, he went out and built. You're probably going to know his business. He went out. He was very senior at Compass. I think he was the MD. Right. And he went over to Oz and he built his coffee company, and it's absolutely flying. He did it about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal place to drink coffee.
Why?
I think because of the Italian community. The Italian community went over there in the 1950s.
Fair enough.
So worked over in Melbourne for a while. I was over in Melbourne for 12 months and worked at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. I don't know if you're a cricket fan, Chris.
Not really.
But I am.
Bit slow and boring for me.
But also got into the Aussie rules football while I was over there.
Okay, that I could do.
Which was great. Yeah, that was great fun. Yeah. So saw a load of games there and then came back, needed a job, so became a holiday rep for 6 months.
This is a magical journey.
Met my wife. She came out on holiday.
All right, okay.
You're
one of those holiday reps.
I am one of, yeah. She came home and said, "Mum, Dad, I've met a rep. It did not go down well."
Yeah.
And then needed a job. So my brother was, I'm a twin, and my twin brother was working for a coffee company at the time, and they needed a point of sale system, and that point of sale system happened to be looking for some people, so I was literally given a phone number of someone to phone up, and phoned them up and got a job in the POS industry in the early days of POS, a company called Clarity Systems, who you probably won't have heard of.
I mean, I probably wasn't even born. You know how young I am.
Oh, behave. So worked there, did projects. And in installations, travelled up down the country. I was doing about 70,000 miles a year.
I was going to say, do you think the young people appreciate how easy it is to communicate and find jobs and all that kind of stuff? I got my job with Beefeater, my first job. My friend sent me a letter No, not a letter, an envelope with a newspaper cutting in to my address. I was living in the Forte Crest Halls of Residence in Piccadilly Circus.
Blimey.
Yeah, which sounds amazing, but it wasn't. And I got this little envelope came, Rich Walsh, thank you, I'll never forget this. And I opened the little envelope and he just cut me pub needs manager in our local village, right? And put the circle around it like, you see. Yeah. And then I applied for it and went up and down to Liverpool a few times and got it. And changed my life. But it's just mad, isn't it, how
it's crazy.
Those things happen.
It's
used
crazy.
To happen.
I remember getting my first mobile phone and I was really pleased when I got my first mobile phone at Clarity, and it was on the same network as my now wife's mobile phone, because you couldn't text message into network.
Oh yeah, you couldn't.
You couldn't. So
was it a Sony Mars bar? What was it?
It was a Nokia something,
8510?
or Siemens. I think it was a Siemens.
Siemens.
So worked for Clarity for a while, and then floated around the industry. Worked for some of the bigger brands, and then from there moved into. I was given an opportunity to start my own company, so I set up with someone, and we were doing PMS, property management systems.
Okay.
And while doing that, we were in an exhibition, and I met a guy called Tom Bell. Which some would say is fateful, and he was selling a system
Would
called.
Tom say that?
Hopefully, I saw him on Monday or last week, so that was good. And he was selling a system called Quest, which at the time was a firmware-based POS system when everyone else was moving towards Windows.
Yeah.
And the cost was lower, and we needed a point of sale to resell along with the PMS system, so I became a reseller of Quest. Long and short story of that is that company didn't quite work out, so I needed a job. So I phoned up Tom.
Like you say, you went back to repping.
No. One season was enough for that. So phoned up Tom, and after a couple of months, I started working originally on a 6-week contract. And 18 and a half years later, I'm still there.
That's crazy.
So it's been an interesting ride.
And Tom is as well, right? So Tom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's Tom Bell?
Tom Bell is the CEO of Centegra and also now Cinchio. Sorry, he's managing director of Cinchio, because different titles in America. This
will all be explained in a few seconds. Yeah. But tell us a little bit. So that journey's insane. I just always think it's really cool to understand where you've come from. You didn't mention Aston Villa once. I'm really impressed.
It'll come because we and that was in a work context.
And I did tell John, you can't digress. We've got 45 minutes. Behave, and I've already digressed 3 times.
All I'm saying is Champions League tomorrow night. Bayern Munich, can't wait. Got the ticket.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah. That'll be a cricket score.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, for us.
Anyway, so tell us a bit about the product. So Centegra, because a lot of people will know your name but not know when they've used you. Would I be right in saying that?
I think that
I'm talking about a personal opinion.
We started out with the Quest product, and that was the first UK web-based POS system for hospitality in the UK. And we were an ISP at that point as well. We had to be an ISP because no one had broadband. So we went out and we were sort of selling broadband along with these tills, and we had racks of modems initially, even before broadband. And one of the things that we did there is, because it was sort of remote based, we started to offer bureau service.
Wow.
And that's one of the key things that we've done all the way through, where actually it becomes a problem for users and customers to constantly have people moving, especially now. People move on all of the time. People stay for a couple of years. You build up the knowledge, and as soon as they've gone, then you lose that knowledge. So that's where we take things away from customers in order to run it. We can do it for them at a sort of a monthly fee. And we've had some customers do that for 20 years.
It's crazy. Not that it's crazy they use you for 20 years, but it's interesting, isn't it, that those things end up like outsourcing, I suppose you could call it.
Yep.
And it becomes habitual almost.
Yes. Yeah. So we had the Quest POS. We've moved on. We're on to our 4th generation of web-based POS now. And as we moved from one POS to another, because technology changed, times changed, we built a platform. Originally, for one company, it was to have all of the data in one place, whether they sold a coffee and a muffin on the existing system or the new system. So we built, it was an early BI tool to generate all the sales together and consolidate all the sales. And from that, we just kind of moved on from there, as you do. So we've now built a platform that I think we're up to 8 different point of sales we take feeds from for various customers. Obviously, we love people to take our point of sale. But certainly in America, when you go into some of the larger sites, they've got huge investment in hardware. And there's a return on investment to come through for that. So we
that's a big deal, right? Because you're shelling out a lot of money for whatever,
exactly,
kiosk, whatever it might be, and then the return takes a bit longer to arrive.
Well, it's not only that; it's also volume of POS. So a small site in America, we've just one site in America, and it's 45 point of sale. And that's one site. That's one site. So
45 units, 45.
45 tills. Even though I don't like the word till. So you're not going to go and just chuck all that out. So we've built this platform that takes in data from lots of different sources, and obviously when the aggregators started to pop up. Well, it's strange to believe that it's only 5 or 6 years, and
how they've like a lot longer.
How they've revolutionised the industry. So we had this platform where we could take data in from different sources, and that's what we do. We take in sources from multiple aggregators. We obviously feed menus out and do the full menu management piece with that. But we also take in data from third parties. So we take in from a number of different remote ordering apps from kiosk companies. Obviously, we have our own remote ordering app. We have our own kiosk as well. But we're happy to work with people. That's one of the key things that we've always done. We've always worked with third parties.
It's a really good segue, John, actually. It's like you've done this before. Because you talked about that 20-year piece a minute ago around some of your customers that have worked with you, and then again about relationships. And I'm a big believer in the fact that relationships are everything, and especially in hospitality, it's so emotive. That loyalty piece, I suppose, how have you kept, you kind of explained it a little bit there, but how have you kept these people to come along the journey with you?
I'm going to refer back to. Obviously, I've been listening to some of your podcasts along the way. It's one of the first things I listen to. I've got to say that. I've got to say that. It was interesting. You were talking to Tommy from Honest Burgers.
Yes.
And one of the things you're talking about there is customer service.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing. My background, before I moved into this side of things, I used to wear, when I was working at the Villa and Birmingham, I used to wear coattails, and it used to be silver service and good morning, sir, good morning, madam,
really?
how are you?
Were you like literally working as in? Like...
yeah, I used to run so in the Birmingham, I used to run the director's box. So I was serving Karen Brady and David Gold.
Wow.
And in the Villa, I was running bars, but it was the 3/4 tails, proper sort of silver service.
I didn't think they had those clothes in Birmingham.
I'm going to completely ignore that and move on. I'm not going to bite. So it's always been about. It's always been about service first, and that's one of the things that's come through with Tom as well. We've always dealt with the customer first and then ask questions later. So in the past, we've been in business for over 20 years. We've had customers, for example, that are slightly behind on payments or things like that. If they phone up on a Friday lunchtime and they've got a queue out the door, we're not going to say to them, you owe us some money.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to sort it out first, and then from there, I'll give them a call and say, hello, we helped you out. Any chance you could sort this out? And we've even had some of our clients have actually turned around to us and said, can we do first-line support for other companies?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to say who it is, but one of our major customers has only ever given one award to a supplier, and that was us. We're really, really hot on the customer service.
I think it's everything. I mean, people get bored of me saying it every week on the podcast that the support side of things. Or when I say support, people think of dialing in and ringing a human. It's not just about that. It's not about troubleshooting all the time. It's about the support general, actually having some insight into their business and saying, why don't you try this? We've got a great partner that might be able to help you with that kind of thing. Because, and I know most tech suppliers will be rolling their eyes going, yeah, of course we do that. But I don't think it's that common. I think a lot of people are selling and moving on to the next thing because that's the nature of the beast.
I think it's absolutely critical. I mean, some of our customers have been with us for 20 years. We're doing the Hospitality Tech Exhibition in a few weeks, and one of the things we're celebrating there is 20 years of service and 20 years of customer service. Because that's one thing that can set us apart from other people.
Yeah, because in a sea full of POS or a sea full of people doing what similar things to what you do, how do you stand out? And I feel for the younger guys or the younger products that haven't been around as long, what is the differentiator? Why?
It's about always being there. We have wraparound. We have 24-hour support. And it's only recently we've actually taken mine and Tom's phone numbers off our website, and that was just because the
I've
amount
got them
of
if anyone needs them, I can put them in the copy of the podcast.
The amount of spam. I mean, if really someone was really want to get in contact with me, it's not difficult. Just look on LinkedIn or but we only took those off because we the amount of spam that we had. I still have a relationship with pretty much every customer. We may have people that deal with them on a day-to-day basis, but everybody. I had a call yesterday from somebody that's got 4 sites, and he wanted to query something, so he picked up the phone and gave me a call, and that's really, really important.
Yeah, I think that's crucial. And again, going back to the fact that obviously AI is great, and it's going to fix a lot of problems. Actually, well, not fix, but
help
smooth the pathway to a lot of this stuff, and everyone will use it in some form in the next few years. But I think still just being able to, if I ran a business, being able to ring you and go, "Oi, can you help me?"
And it's a rare.
Sounds a bit aggressive.
But it's rare it happens because we have a team of people that do that. But it's really important. The other thing is honesty. So. I remember a time, probably 15 years ago, where I brought down a burrito chain on a Friday lunchtime because I pressed the wrong button.
Ouch.
But in that situation, what I did is everyone just stopped. Everyone phoned up all the sites, said we're fixing it. And what I did is I got on the phone to the CEO and said, "I'm really sorry. I've done this. We'll give you a call back in 5 minutes." And we fixed it quickly because I knew what I'd done as soon as I did it. But at that point, you build trust.
Why is it always a Friday?
It's because it's sod's law. I'm sorry, I'm not going to swear on this. I was going to swear then, but I'm not going to swear. I know I'm allowed to swear, but I'm going to do better than Tommy from Honest Burgers. Hello, Tommy. I know you're going to be listening to this. So it's about being honest and being straight with people. Because then actually, if you say no to people, that's not going to be possible. They believe it. And that's important. That's really important.
I think it's truly important. And you work with lots of different customers, as you say. Is there one in particular, I suppose, that if you could share something from, I suppose, your journey in Centegra with some of the customers you had for a long time, is there a particular animal or customer that you could talk about?
Well, we can talk about everybody. I mean, I suppose the one that we're really proud of is Leon Restaurants. We've been working with Leon since
they favourite of mine in the train station, Paddington.
Their GFC nugget, their GFC chicken is phenomenal. But we've been working with them since their first site.
Right.
Since I remember going in when they first opened, when it was Henry Dimbleby and John Vincent stood behind the counter. Serving customers.
Wow.
And we've been working with them since, and within Leon, and that's a classic case of working in partnerships. So they have a third-party kiosk solution. But we do pretty much everything else within there. We do the point of sale. We support their credit card sort of payment systems. We do all the KMS. So whether it's Uber, delivery, Just Eat, point of sale, kiosk, it all comes into the KMS. And then we obviously do all their data.
So. And obviously they've been on a journey themselves, right? In terms of their product and how their shops look and feel and all that kind of stuff. And I guess you guys this is where the relationship's really key, right? Because you've got to. It's very hard, isn't it, for a non-relationship, if they're changing so quickly or innovating so quickly, how the hell do you keep up?
Well, we have weekly meetings.
Yeah.
So that's one of the key things. We've installed KMS in Leon probably 6-7 years ago. It was just before the pandemic. And we still have weekly calls because we still want to tweak things. We still want to change things slightly. So we've just been doing a project with them. I think I can talk about this, where they've just launched their coffee subscription.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's going phenomenally well. So it's working with them operationally. How can we help them with that? How can we support them with that?
And I think this is I just had our first Crust Council meeting before you today, and we a random selection of people from the industry, who from tech and from operations, who were talking about this buying process and how we buy tech. And actually, that kind of relationship again you're talking about in terms of not wanting to. We were talking why people would leave a product, why they would change, and the reality is no one really wants to leave anybody, right? No. Because it's a pain in the backside. And I know obviously there's great opportunities sometimes and money to be saved and all this kind of stuff. But the reality is it's hard work operationally to do it and a distraction to the business. And I think that's why it's great if you can maintain that relationship and you have the technology to support the innovation, then you should be hand in hand forever.
Yeah.
And that's what you've done with them.
Well, I'd like to think so.
Far.
Yes, so far.
I don't want to jinx it.
No, we're good. We're good.
And what about what you see coming forward? Because actually, we talked very briefly at the start. You mentioned an American company. What are they called?
Cinchio.
And tell us all about that, because this is you've been talking to me and Sarah a lot about it recently. But tell the world.
So Cinchio is a company based in the USA that is part of a larger company called the SSA Group. And the SSA Group, they've been going for 50 years. and they help run zoos attractions in the USA.
Stadia, stuff like that?
Not Stadia, but zoos attractions and things like that. So they started off with Denver Zoo 50 years ago.
Wow.
And they've used a number. We were introduced to them via one of our partners because they were looking for somebody that can combine different inputs. And by inputs, we're talking about point of sale, kiosk, etc. So we've been working with them for probably, I think, 4 years, something like that. And they approached us a number of years ago. Obviously, these things take time. There's been lots of discussions.
So was it about the joining? It wasn't working with you at that point. It was about this.
Oh no, it was absolutely working. They were a customer to start off. Absolutely, they were a customer. We were combining a number of different point of sale systems for them into one place. And at the same time, they had an arm. They're a company of a size where they have an arm where they were looking at doing things themselves rather than buying in. So they've built a kiosk and a mobile app for zoos, and the ATV is up by, I think no one will be surprised by I say that digital ordering, the average transaction's up by 45%.
Just on that point, because I do think it's interesting, and someone asked me about kiosks the other day, and I know everyone's ears were probably burning, but what is that a pretty standard increase when you're looking at someone going through a portal rather than doing it?
Absolutely. I mean, the sort of the figures that are so anywhere between 40 and 50%. I was speaking last week to a holiday park chain, and they put in 2 kiosks as a trial into a site, and their ATV increased by 50%.
It's insane.
It is utterly. So we've been working with Cincio we've been working with SSA for some time, and they decided to combine us, our technology, and their kiosks and mobile. So in the US, it's branded as Cincio. In the UK, we're still Centegra. But we're working on the new sort of logo says Cincio, Centegra, a Cincio solutions partner. And we're really working together. We're sort of building the 2 bits of technology together for one platform. And there's other companies involved with that group as well. So there's some really, really interesting guest engagement.
Next year's going to be off the scale for you guys.
It's going to be interesting.
Yes.
I've done more travel this year than I have done in the previous 10 years.
Yeah, you were Australia? No.
I've been to Australia to work on some stuff over there. And then I was over in Amsterdam last weekend at IAPA, which I don't know if you know what IAPA is.
Sounds like Iron Appa to me. That was great.
Yeah. No, it was. It definitely was. No, it's the.
Is that what you were repping?
No, that was Mallorca. That's the. Let me get this right. It's the International Association of Amusement Park and Attractions.
Funnily enough, I haven't been to that one.
No, it's massive. It's in comparison to some of the.
I bet it was a roller coaster.
Oh! Funnily enough, they were roller coasters there, Chris.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised.
Literally, I'm here all week.
So one of the companies we're working with now, they've got a foothold in that market. They've got a really, really great product.
That's what I think I love about. You can't really. Do you still call it hospitality because the breadth of it, or the? Yeah, I know it's not. I know it's probably more leisure or tourism.
We're sort of classing it as multi-use venues.
Yeah. But it's still hospitality, right? It's
yes,
still customer facing, and you're serving people that are angry most of the time, especially me.
And tired with kids that are tired.
Yeah, just shut up. We're going on again. I don't care. I love the runaway train. Yeah. But like, it's super interesting the breadth of the industry, right? Or the scope of what you can sell to, and and the problems you can fix. Yeah. Like that ATV thing. I know it's obvious and everyone knows about it, but it blows my mind that result you can get that result and people not doing it. I'm like, what? I don't understand. Just like if you have a cinema type venue and they're doing it, then copy.
Exactly. I remember going to a talk. I can't remember which conference it was at. Probably going back 12, 13 years when people were just starting to look at kiosks. And the result of it was the fact that actually when you go to a kiosk, people will buy the extra burger. Whereas if you go up and talk to somebody, they'll order a burger and fries. Right? Absolutely. But if you're
I don't want to look like a fatty because you're talking to me, but
yeah.
I'm quite happy to be a fatty when no one's looking.
I'm saying nothing. I'm
No, really, I've seriously got sorted out. It's getting really, and I know you're a runner, so I don't want to hear anything of it. All right, just keep it buttoned. But yeah, I've got to. I went up on the mountain on the weekend, and I did my 3 miles. Painful.
3 miles. It's that
but it's like a gradient like that.
It's still only 3 miles. On Strava, it says 3 miles, Chris.
It's in the Welsh weather. Well, yeah, but it's red. You know that bit that goes red when it shows the strain you're under?
It's still only 3 miles.
My watch was literally like, "Are you okay?" I don't know if that's a function everyone else has, but mine was just like, "Are you okay? Do you need to sit down?" But no, I did it at the weekend, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's always the same, right? Working out, you kind of enjoy it afterwards.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Anyway, I digress totally, as always. And so not in terms of, I know it's exciting with Cinchio, and does it change what the outlook in the UK for you? As I know, obviously, there's extra products you can probably draw on.
Yeah, it's drawing on extra products, building the sort of a larger product suite. But apart from that, no, in the UK, we're running
Same
out
old
of
Centegra.
Obviously,
That sounds really
the
bad,
latest.
doesn't it?
No, I'm not going to take that, Chris. The same amazing Centegra with
Thank you,
amazing
yeah.
customer service.
I was kind of doing it in a kind of friendly, huggy way, but it did sound bad. So so that new amazing. Well, it is new, isn't it? Because the fact is, you're going to have more, I suppose, more support or more, I suppose.
Yeah, I think
backing.
there's more. There's more things. So it's simple things like we have more people to discuss things with. We have a larger development team. So the development teams are building
Customer
together.
base changes slightly.
Yeah, but, some of the customers in the USA that Cinchio with. We had customers in America before.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting for support. We're not going to necessarily have to have somebody sat up till 3 o'clock in the morning waiting for the West Coast of America to do stuff.
Yeah.
So that's one of the changes that will come in over time. I think everyone's going to breathe a sigh of relief that they're going to have to stay up till 2:30 in the morning.
Whoever that was, God bless you.
Oh, absolutely.
They did deserve a medal. I hope you give them a pay rise just to be on 9 to 5 now.
No.
Not on the podcast. No, okay, good point. Yeah. And for you, because you've been around for a while. Again,
I'll take that the way it's intended. Yeah.
You have great legacy in your business.
Yep.
No, right. And you've seen a lot of change, particularly in the hospitality industry, particularly around the POS market, I suppose. Yep. What do you think of the current state of it, and what do you think, not just in POS, and you can be very general about it, but what does it look like coming down the road? Because AI is obviously going to play a huge part. We have interesting discussions about AI. A lot of AI is very well written algorithms, and there are some people that have got the data size to do AI well, but I think that's one of the key things. You need an extraordinary amount of data to do AI well, and that's where ChatGPT is phenomenal, because they've got the whole of Google to look on. And I think people maybe get confused though between, I would keep saying this stuff on AI and automation, in terms of, I say to you, Mr. Tech Man, can you help me make this process go quicker in my operations because it's too clunky and we're wasting time? Is that more on the automation side, or? I
would say that can be machine learning. There's a difference. So we've just done a project with a customer where they came to us and said, we are running our production planners on one massive spreadsheet. So we sat down and we built it because we've got the inputs.
Like a QSR?
Yeah. And they had a load of data into loads of spreadsheets that they were typing in manually. We already had the data points. We knew what the sales were. We knew when they were. And that's where that's not AI. That's machine learning, and that's being able to.
But I think there's a real not confusion, but the way it's marketed almost to the general public. I think people do think that it's one of the same thing.
They did. I mean, a good example of some AI that obviously I'm going to push the point of this is to me to do some plugs, and please stop me if I'm going too far.
Carry on. Let's ask the Villa.
One of the things that we're going to be showing at the Hospitality Tech Show is that we've got a thing called Mashkin. And that is AI. That's taking I think it's 30% quicker checkout times in certain environments, and it is phenomenally quick. And that is AI, because that's taking 12 images of a banana and applying that technology and those photos to every banana that you ever put in sight of the cameras.
So is that inventory then? Are you talking about, is it checking people out on the way out the door? Or
no, that's a self-checkout. So basically you come in and you put stuff within a space. It automatically recognises what is on that space. It pops up on a screen, you tap and you pay. One of the things about kiosks is actually there's a number of steps that you have to go through. Once you've selected everything, you then have to go to checkout, and then you have to hit pay, which ultimately is quicker. And obviously the ATV is higher, but there's time involved in that. Whereas with Mashkin, you basically chuck a whole load of stuff into a space. It pops up on the screen and you tap and go. There's no other interaction.
It's insane. Also, Burger King, if you're listening, I hope you are. There's like 7 steps with them, because they literally upsell the hell out. I mean, I do fall foul of it.
Yeah.
But they upsell the hell out of you on the checkout. I'm sure they're not alone.
Yeah. And that's sometimes it's got to be the right environment. So this is not for an environment where you're going to go in and everything's going to be prepared fresh. It's for a grab and go environment.
Yeah,
but
I love it.
In a grab and go environment, it is. I'm looking forward. My kids turned around to me the other day and said, "Dad, why have you ordered a packet of plastic fruit through Amazon?" Because we're just going to be chucking stuff onto Mashkin, and that's one of the key things that we're going to be looking at.
Children.
Well, technically, if they're small, no, it wouldn't fit in.
Yeah.
And with something like that, I can talk about it, and I've talked about it. And we had a customer who we're just about to start working with come in a couple of weeks ago, and they were looking at some other parts of our solution. And I said, as the last minute, I said to them, just have a little play with this. And you could see their eyes lighting up for the right environment.
And do you know what? And I always say this as well, that if you can save anything and anything, time.
Yes.
Money we can replace, right? Yeah. Money, but time once it's gone, it's gone. So if you can save some through any kind of genius tech, I think it's an absolute winner, because hospitality, I mean, everyone goes, time poor. They are. It's busy. Yeah. We're just mad people who run around with no... distracted.
Yes, exactly. I mean, one of the best bits of tech I've seen recently, it's not from us, it was from someone else. Sorry, I'm going to bring us back to the villa again.
It's just no need.
But they've got some phenomenal bits of tech. They've got this sort of the Amazon Go type checkout for beers. So you basically walk in, you pick
in the stadium?
Yeah, in the stadium. We have these things, unlike at Anfield, where it's...
Sorry, Liverpool have it as well. I've seen it. Yeah.
So that's phenomenally quick. The other thing... 3-3, I think the score was. But the other bit, and it's really, really simple, but I use it every game now, where they have a self-pour, where you have a credit card machine next to a tap, and you walk in and you tap your card and you say you want a pint and you pay for it and then you pour it. And I've got experience of working in pubs and bars, so I know how to pour a pint. And it's quick, and you know the pint is fresh.
Self-pour is really in wine as well, right? Yes. So I know Vagabond obviously have been doing it their way for a while. Yeah. But self-pour seems to be something that I keep seeing popping up all over the place.
Yes.
I think Brewdog are trialling it at the moment, actually,
somewhere.
Really? Yeah. Do you have to be able to pour a pint to use it? Can you get away with it?
You can probably get away with it.
Right,
you can probably get away with it. But it's quick, and that's the thing. And again, I think they've got...
Queue busting.
I think exactly. The whole thing about this, the stadium market is something else in the fact that it's all about speed. I remember many years ago, we put a system in at Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah.
And we had some people over from America to come and help us with the Go Live and watch and see what's going on in the Go Live. And they said, well, what happens if something goes wrong at half time? I said, well, number one, it's not going to go wrong. We've tested it to within an inch of its life. They said, well, should we get behind the counters? I said, no, you can't get anywhere near to the counters. Well, why not? And we said, we'll just stand at the back. And we stood at the back of the concourse.
Yeah.
And I looked at my watch and went, right, 5 minutes to half time. Yeah, steer clear. And within 5 minutes, it was absolutely rammed.
It's so hard, isn't it? You got 15. I mean, you could argue 20 minutes, right?
Yes,
for the people like you get up early. 5 minutes before half time. Us Liverpool fans, we stay right to the end. Jurgen told us. Got to stay to the end. Anyway.
Oh, the blessed altar of Jurgen Klopp.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that 15 minutes to service, and it's not the whole stadium, right? But you would argue 20-30% at least. At the
it's
stadium.
phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And this is one of the things that you'll find stadiums are doing now is they're desperately trying to do offers beforehand to try and get people in for the dwell time. Because you have, I mean, there's some technology we're working with some one of our partners over in the States, and all they do is stadiums. So, for example, they have their technology is based around speed. That is it. Speed and reliability.
Should we be applying that though back into our little world, or is it just not relevant?
I think it's a different market. So, for example, you look at a kiosk in a stadium, and it's very different to a kiosk in a QSR, because in a stadium you only have 2 beers, you have 2 packets of crisps, you have 2 chocolate bars, and you have 2 soft drinks, and that's it. So actually you don't do upsells in a stadium.
So it's not choice, it's literally speed.
It is literally speed. It's absolutely speed, and that is the most speed and reliability. So being able to process if something goes wrong with the internet, can you still process transactions? That's one of the critical pieces within stadiums.
Well, and explain to me again, and this is nothing to do with tech, I want to understand why I can't get a phone signal in a stadium. Is that purely because there's so many phones in?
That I don't know. I'm guessing it's because of the amount of people. You can, if you're on EE, you can get reception at Villa, so you need to come to Villa, Chris.
Never going. I went there in 1996 in the whole end to watch Liverpool semi-final against Portsmouth, FA Cup.
But it was one of the best atmospheres you've ever been in.
It was very good, actually. On the way home, I was dancing on a roof of a bus outside Villa Park, which I probably shouldn't admit. But it was great. Yeah, it was great. It was Darren Anderson was playing.
Blimey, that's some time ago.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And Dean Saunders scored for Liverpool.
And of course, he came and played for us as well.
Yeah. Anyway, no one likes this bit when I start
No,
about football.
yeah.
It's really
Nor me.
So look, and in terms of, I suppose the challenges you faced, I suppose over the last, I don't know. Do you really? What kind of challenges have you faced? Is it similar to what we just talked about there? In fact, the changing way of the customer, is that the most challenge you face?
I think the customer is different depending on where you are in the country.
Yeah.
I think it's taken time for kiosks and mobile to move. And I hate to say this as a born and bred Brummie. It's taken time for things to move up north, and it's some of the larger chains, the likes of McDonald's. They're the ones that have led the way.
Well, they're doing the educating, right, aren't they?
Exactly, and people will go there. And I think as generations move on, as people sort of grow up on tech,
and my kids think drive-throughs totally like
completely. My kids
they expect it in the house.
When I was a kid, when you went to McDonald's, it was a treat for your birthday. Whereas my kids now phone up and order an app when they're hungover. I need some hash browns.
Yeah,
so they'll order 5 hash browns and that's it.
Yeah, that side of things is crazy, and that the delivery side is so good. They're so good.
Yeah,
I mean it's so slick, and the sort of fact that you moan about, everyone must do this when you get told to park up.
Yes,
and everyone's like, "Fuck, park up." 3 minutes left, got my food. What the hell?
I know.
But the speed they're going through orders there,
it's phenomenal.
And you're still being made to wait, but it's 180 seconds.
Yes,
and you're peed off.
Yeah, I know.
That's the way the consumer has changed, and I think that is horrific for an operator.
Oh, completely. And
so impatient.
Exactly. And I think to come back to what you said, I think that the biggest challenges that we face is obviously there's always someone doing something new.
Yeah.
And it's about being as far enough ahead of the curve whilst not developing for... One of the things that we do all of the time is the fact that we will only develop something, and our CTO will be very pleased with me saying this, we only develop when there's a requirement for it. We've all got lots and lots of blue sky ideas. Yeah, we've got lots of things that we would love to do.
I'd be a nightmare in your company. We build products daily.
And that's there's been times when we sort of go, I think we'll do let's take a punt on this.
Yeah.
Just on small stuff. There's no point. We have to do it for customers.
And I think it leads back to your loyalty point, right? The fact that do what you do, but do it really well.
Exactly.
And look after people. And I think when the changes need to come, then like you say, when there's enough clamour for it, or when there's a big enough, or a new customer potential, something in need for it, then that would drive you over the line. But I think the temptation, because tech is so good now, that you can spin up a feature or a product quite quickly.
And that's where you have to partner with people. You have to look at do as much as you can, but if you don't do something, then get a good partner, a really good partner. Everything that we've done has been built through, so our cash management, it's now called revenue management, because no one takes cash anymore.
That's very true.
So our revenue management module was built 13, 14, 15 years ago because a customer came to us and said, I'm doing this on a spreadsheet. Can you do something? And again, we've got the data points, so we do that. And we just build stuff. We build stuff for customers because that's what it's about.
Love that. What does the future look like? And we talked a little bit about Cincio. So next year, you've got your Bar and Tech show coming up.
Yeah, we've got the Bar and Tech show.
I'm trying to think if you'll come out before or after it. I'll try and do it before for you.
Yeah,
yes. So,
2 weeks today it opens.
Right.
Yeah. You need to edit it. Yeah. Come on, Chris. What are you waiting for? So we've got that. Then I'm going over to Florida in November.
Holiday or work?
I wish it. No, I'm going to stand I'm going to land on the Saturday afternoon, and then on the Monday at 8 o'clock I'll be in a conference centre on an exhibition floor, and then I'll fly out 2 hours after it ends.
Oh,
so I'm going to. I've never been to America.
Really?
I've never been to America. I've always gone east.
Oh, you're going to love it.
Yeah. So I'm going to see one tiny little bit of Orange County in Florida.
Oh, right. Okay. So you're not doing the whole.
No,
Harry
I'm not
Potter.
doing No. I may have a couple of hours.
The Bucket and Spade Brigade.
Yeah.
Hard Rock used to fly us out there a lot. We were very fortunate. We used to be out there a lot. But the Bucket and Spade Brigade, we used to call them. Yeah.
So I've got IAPA America coming up in November.
It'd be so funny if you turned up in IAPA in is it Cyprus? Yeah.
Yes.
So if you turned up in IAPA and just said to the boss, I can't see the show, but now I'm here. I'll just partake.
Yes.
But yeah, very cool.
And then apart from that, we've got some new stuff going into some sites, into different sort of venues. That's coming up over the next few weeks and months. And it's really just building on what we've done. Yeah. Maintaining relationships.
I think it's the core of what you do, isn't it?
Yes.
That,
yeah.
And I think it's super exciting. I won't give it away too much, but I know you're doing a speech on the single pane of glass.
A single pane of glass in a user-centric operation.
Now, if that's not enough to pull you to the bar, Hospitality Tech Expo, then I don't know what is. No, but it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's about, I think if I'm deciphering it correctly, it's about that 1.2 of truth, I suppose.
It's the one point of contact, the one point of being able to look at lots of different things in one place.
Yeah.
And the other thing, it goes back to the customer service side of things. I'm talking about the fact that it's a user-centric. Well, actually, there's lots of different types of user.
Yeah.
You've got a user is somebody that comes in and uses a kiosk, but you've also got users behind tills, you've got managers, you've got sort of director levels and senior management.
And I think what's fascinating this time round is that actually I as a user or you as a user could change our user experience on the day. Yes. So here I will use the QR code when I feel like it, or I will use the waiter. Today got bored of trying to do the QR code and spoke to the waiter, but it just depends what mood I'm in. And same in any QSR I go into my kids. If the kids are with me, all day I'm driving through. Yes, but if I'm on my own, nipping it, I'll just run in.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just not that I don't eat there a lot, John.
Yeah,
it really doesn't
I believe you. I believe you. No, where was I with? I was talking to someone last week, and they said that one of the things they were looking at is, do they put a little mini kiosk on every table? And my response was, sorry, I'll reach over. Why? You've got that.
Yeah, that is your
kiosk. That is your mini kiosk. There's no cost. Yeah. If you put a kiosk on the table, I remember someone did this many, many years ago where they actually built the kiosk in the table. But then you've got to service it, and you've got to make sure the customers are customers. Customers are going to destroy things.
I think give them the choice as well, right? So, and the choice is within the handset. It's like a billboard in their hands, right?
Exactly.
And I think that they've got the choice in the handset, and then you've got the choice of the human, or the choice of potentially a fixed kiosk where a kiosk should be. Yeah. I've seen various different kiosks as I've been traveling around recently, used in very different use cases, and I have a firm opinion, unless you have heavy foot traffic, I'm not sure you should have one.
I think it depends on where you put them. Not at all. It depends on where you put them. That's one of the other things, is where do you put the kiosks.
That's what I mean. So in terms of location, but they are queue busters essentially, right?
Yes.
So I just saw one the other day, and it was kind of parked at the back. It was, you wouldn't have to walk to it at all. It was not on the footpath.
So there's no point.
Traffic. So
I think one of the key things as well is that although, for example, where we are today, I use the QR code to order a coffee. Yeah. Actually, if you can get people to download your app, then the loyalty that you will get out of that is just phenomenal.
Would you put kiosk in here?
In here?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's the vibe.
No, I don't think
it's not the vibe. I mean, you've got a QR code. So if anyone doesn't know, we're the Brewdog. Yes. Well, I'll just explain that. Yeah. I'll do that bit for you.
You just do my job.
No, I don't think. Why would you?
I don't know. It's interesting to look at. It's a huge venue. They do. I mean, if you come here on a Thursday night, I don't know if you've been here before. No. So Thursday night here is it's like the last day of London, isn't it? Everyone goes home. It is bonkers, like 10 deep.
But why would you?
It wouldn't help.
It's a seated environment, so it's exactly the same as having a QR code.
Self-port, I can see.
Yes. Yep.
So they could self-port. Anyway, we're not fixing Brewdog.
No.
James will do that. Oh, well, he's off to his new job now. Someone else will do that then. Yeah. But also, we can find you. What's your website?
www.centegra.co.uk.
There you go. Simple. And also, you're around about, right? They can hit you up on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
You accept all fans outside of Aston Villa, and not just.
I will even accept. There's one. In fact, if on the post that we put up yesterday, there's a legend of the industry. I don't know if you know Nick Scudder.
Yes, I know Nick Scudder.
He's a Birmingham fan.
Right.
And I used to work with him many, many, many years ago, and we've kept in contact. And even yesterday, he was abusing me about the football. But I'd like to say, Nick.
Yeah, it's something about football rivalry. It just doesn't go away.
He's like, Nick, you're in League One.
Yeah. End of conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a really nice place for you to be. Yeah. Well, look, thank you, John. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
Enjoy your trip to America after the show. I'm quite jealous. Not
no,
sure.
No.
72 hours in Orange County.
No.
Sounds like a film.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll let you know.
Sounds like a dodgy Netflix series. Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much, John.
Cheers,
that was John, everyone from Centegra.
Thank you.